What is your name, please?
My name is Tio Tashiro.
My name is Tio Tashiro. My name is Tio Tashiro.
Only one of these men is the real Tio Tashiro. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Barry Nelson, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Winston Filter Cigarettes. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bud.
Everybody bright and chipper tonight?
Yeah.
Ready to play some fun? We have some fun for you tonight. I think you're going to enjoy it. Would you open up that envelope, please, and follow along with me as I read on this first story? I, Tio Tashiro, have been interested in football since I was a kid. I played in high school, but was ineligible for college football because while an undergraduate, I was working as a professional judo instructor. After college, I found it difficult to get up a good game, so I organized my own team. I am now playing with a team in the Atlantic Coast Professional League. Since I am paid only expenses per game, I, of course, have another means of livelihood. Except on every Saturday during football season, my friends and patients know me as Tio Tashiro, M.D., General Surgeon. Signed, Dr. Tio Tashiro. Panel, these three gentlemen all claim to be Tio Tashiro, football-playing surgeon. Let's start the questioning with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, you're a student as well as an MD. Bursar should mean 2 things to you. What does bursar mean, number 3?
Bursar is a type of inflammation, sir.
Thank you. Is there, number 1, is there another meaning for bursar to you?
You're talking about bursar in the schools?
That's interesting, yeah. Number 2, yeah. I asked number 1, but I'm glad you answered.
I'm sorry, sir.
Number 1, all right, what's another meaning for bursar besides the bursar in the school?
Bursa is an anatomical part of the body.
Where is it found?
Well, it can be found in many places, but the most familiar one is usually under the deltoid muscle.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you.
Peggy Cass.
Number 3, does the bursar, is that where you have bursitis?
Well, that's my conception, yes, ma'am.
Number 2, what's general surgery? Does that mean you can operate anywhere?
Yes.
Well, number 1, I mean like tonsillitis, that's a throat doctor. I didn't know general surgery. Well, never mind all that. Tell me, number 1, could you tell me 2 teams in the Atlantic Coast Professional League?
Yes, the Mohawk Valley Falcons and the Newark Bears.
Number 3, would you name another one?
It's Springfield, which is the top contender and have won the conference.
Number 2, did you pay your way through school by teaching judo?
No, I did not. I earned part of my salary.
Why were you in all of
Barry.
Number 1, what is the most common blood type?
I would say O, positive.
And where is blood type AB found mostly?
Well, I don't understand just what you're driving at. Where is it from?
In some countries, blood O is not the most common type. What blood type, A and B is found in what countries as the most common blood type?
I'm not familiar with that.
Number 2, what is blood type LU?
LU?
Yes.
I've never heard of it.
Have you ever heard of that, number 3?
No,
And you haven't heard of LU, number 1. What is a single wing, number 1?
What is a single wing?
Yes.
It's a type of positioning on offense for football.
Number 2, would that be consistent with a T formation?
No, it would not be consistent.
Number 3,
Kitty.
Number 3, where are the islands of Langerhorn?
the islands of Langerhorns are right above the pancreas, ma'am.
Thank you.
I must take a trip there someday. Yes.
Number 2, is judo purely defense?
Yes, you might be thinking of karate as the offensive type of judo.
But judo is purely defense.
Yes.
Number 1, what is pentothal?
Pentothal is a drug.
Thank you. Number 3, if you have an anesthetist who would say to you that the heart is failing, what would you give your patient?
Generally, we'd give in a type of injection. Adrenaline is one
Thank you.
type of procedure.
And that's all the time we have. So take your stethoscopes and things in hand and mark your ballots, if you will, please, panel. Mark them at once without change and no consultation as you vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will, of course, be awarded $250 for every incorrect vote.
I can't.
Are all ballots
That'd be
marked?
hard.
Well, mark them up.
It really is hard.
Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 1. He looked like a football player.
And Peggy, what is your choice?
Well, number 1 looks like a football player, but I voted for number 3, the cruise director of the islands of Langerhorn.
Barry Nelson.
I voted for number 3, Bud. He came through with that shot of adrenaline just in time for me.
And Kitty.
I voted for number 3. I thought they were all absolutely fantastic.
Sure were.
Really extraordinary.
Who's laughing? What
Very well, that's nearly unanimous then. 3 for number 3, 1 for number 1. Let's go into the crowd of truth seekers now with the rest and find out who's right and who's wrong as we learn which one of these gentlemen actually is the football-playing surgeon. So will the real Tio Tashiro please stand up?
How did number 3 know so much about medicine?
He took a course with number 1. Let me tell you something fantastic. I want you to look at Dr. Tashiro now, if you will, please, as I'm reading this to you. There's a little fact that I found out about him. He plays corner linebacker for the Mohawk Valley Falcons in Herkimer, New York. The interesting thing, however, is that at the age of 47, he's the oldest active professional football player in the country. 47, look at it. Well, you see, that's what it does to take a vacation in the vacation spot we heard about. Peggy, I think we better go there. Number 2, what is your real name, sir, and what do you really do?
My name is Alden Lee. I'm data processing manager for Lease Plane International. We rent cars.
Thank you. And number 3, with a neat bit of surgery, you garnered all 3 of the votes out of the 4. What is your real name and what do you do?
My name is David Lee. I'm a junior high school teacher in Long Beach, Long Island, New York. And number 2 is my brother.
Well, gentlemen, it was a nice evening of fooling, and I hope it brought you as much fun as it did to us. There were 3 incorrect votes at $250 each. That's $750 from Winston Cigarettes, any way you slice it. And on your way out, you'll also each receive a carton of Winston's, and our sincere thanks to you for being with us. Good night, and God bless you. We'll put the panel back to work in just a minute. Meantime, here's something you'll enjoy. And now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Helen Schreider. My name is Helen Schreider. My name is Helen Schreider.
Will you follow along with your copy of these facts, panel? I, Helen Schreider, had a most unusual honeymoon. I spent it driving the entire length of the Western Hemisphere, 20,000 miles from the Arctic Circle to the southernmost tip of South America. My husband and I made the journey in an Army surplus amphibious Jeep, which we named Tortuga. Our latest excursion in another seagoing Jeep took us from Sumatra to Timor. We not only battled the treacherous currents of the Indian Ocean, but also pushed our way through jungles and over mountains where no wheeled vehicle had ever been before. All in all, my husband and I traveled over 2,000 miles along the length of the Indonesian archipelago. Signed, Helen Schreider. Panel, these 3 ladies all claim to be Helen Schreider, traveler extraordinary. We'll start the cross-examination with the star of the hit film Mary Mary, Barry Nelson.
Thank you, Bud. Number 3, how long did it take you to make this trip, did you say?
Which one?
The last one.
About 13 months.
What did you do about mail and all that? Did you just keep out of contact completely with your former life?
Well, we didn't have a great deal of mail between the islands. Finally, in Timor, some of it caught up with us.
Number 2, what was the greatest height that you attained in your travel?
Are you speaking of the first journey or the second one?
Either journey.
Well, I would say about 12,000 feet.
Number 3, was there a problem of water, drinking water in all of these strange places?
Well, you have to boil it. We found if we boiled the water, this was a great help.
Do you know where Little Andaman Island is?
No, I don't think I do.
Do you know where the Bay of Bengal is?
Yes.
Where is that?
Kitty Carlisle.
I'd like to know, where is it?
Off the Asian continent.
Thank you. Number 1, what is the longest time you were on the water in your amphibious Jeep?
Well, 12 hours.
12 hours?
Yes, we couldn't get to land.
How can it do that?
It's an amphibious Jeep.
Number 2, how much water did you have to go over when you went from the Arctic Circle to the southernmost tip of South America?
About 500 miles.
Where was that?
Off the coast of Panama.
Thank you. Yes? Panama?
This was cumulative, all these.
Number what does Tortuga mean, number 3?
Wood for turtle. Turtle that can go on land.
Oh, thank you.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Gee, they've got me really baffled already. Number 1, how did you get your vehicle to the Arctic Circle?
We drove it up from San Francisco.
Is that so?
Uh-huh.
And number 2, what time of year did you start?
We began our journey in June.
Tell me, was your
Spring.
honeymoon, number 2, did your honeymoon start in San Francisco, or did you wait till you got to the Arctic Circle?
Started as soon as
Well, that's in the fact sheet here. It says
nosy.
Well, that's what it says, the honeymoon. I thought maybe they couldn't get reservations anyplace.
There weren't any reservations for an amphibious vehicle.
Thank you. Number 2,
Peggy.
Number 1, I don't mean to seem stupid, but how does an amphibious Jeep work on the water? Does it have, like, water skis under it or what?
No, you disengage the gears and you start the propeller and you start right off from there.
I see. Thank you. Number 2, if you took 13 months for the first trip, 13 months, and then what do you do for a living?
This is our living.
Number 3. Did the amphibious Jeep company pay you a salary for these trips? Is that the idea?
No, we write after the journeys are over.
Oh.
We did writing, yes.
Thank you. Number 1, where's Tierra del Fuego?
Tierra del Fuego is the southernmost part. Well,
It's the southernmost part, that's what it is. So if you'll kindly mark your ballots now, and at once, please, without conversation of any kind. Don't consult with each other, and don't change once you've marked, if you will. Voting for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All voting over. Is it Tom? For whom did you vote this time?
I finally came up with number 1. How about that, friends? I thought I didn't know how to pin them down about anything. Unless Barry's question about the Bay of Bengal, and I wouldn't know.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 2.
And that's that, huh?
Well, I just couldn't vote. I mean, she looks very brave to me. I don't know.
Barry, what is your choice?
I voted for number 1, Bud. When Tom asked her how she got a car from San Francisco to the Arctic Circle, she said, we drove, like, doesn't everybody?
Kitty.
Well, I voted for number 2 for the same reason. When Peggy asked her what she did for a living, she said, that's my living. So I voted for number 2. I thought she looked fearless and brave and forward-looking.
Like you had a reason. Good for you.
Turn the propeller and off you go in an amphibious Jeep.
Evenly split this time. The vote is 2 for 1, 2 for 2. And with that, let's go and see what comes out of the charm circle, learning as we go which one of these ladies actually did spend her honeymoon on a rather extraordinary trip, followed by another one. So will the real Helen Schreider please stand up? Helen and Frank Schreider are on permanent roving assignment for the National Geographic Society.
Oh, marvelous.
And they've written about their latest adventures in the Indonesian islands in a book entitled The Drums of Tonkin, published by Coward McCann. If you look for that, you'll find a very interesting story. Thank you for being with us. Number one, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Nancy Whitcomb, and I'm a housewife.
And number three, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Elizabeth Frothingham, and I run an international play group for children who are visiting from overseas, a kindergarten program.
Well, we checked the score and find that you did a 50% job of fooling the panel, and believe me, with this panel, that's a good job any day of the week. And it's also a lucrative job because it means 2 incorrect votes at $250 each, $500 coming your way from Winston Cigarettes and a carton of Winston's for each of you on the way out. Thank you. Thank you very much for being with us. Good night, and God bless you. And now, 60 seconds designed to your particular taste for your particular pleasure. And now let's meet our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Stanton Pritchard.
My name is Stanton Pritchard.
My name is Stanton Pritchard.
Follow along with your copies of this story, if you will, please, panel. I, Stanton Pritchard, own and operate an unusual service for animal lovers. It is called Pampered Pet Taxi. Our fleet of 6 special cars will pick up your pet and deliver him to the boarding kennel, the grooming parlor, or to Grandma's house for an afternoon's visit. Each taxi is equipped with 2-way radio, individual kennels, and is sterilized daily and scented with an exclusive pet pampering perfume. Our taxi service is available to all pets: dogs, cats, alligators, ocelots, skunks, baby elephants, 3-toed sloths, and once even a hippopotamus. We also arrange to ship animals anywhere overseas and further provide a 24-hour ambulance service. Among our clients are the pampered pets of Danny Kaye, Janet Leigh, Ella Fitzgerald, Lucille Ball, Peter Lawford, and Zsa Zsa Gabor. Signed, Stanton Pritchard. Well, panel, these 3 gentlemen all claim to be Stanton Pritchard, proprietor of Pampered Pet Taxi. And we'll start with our popular panelist, Pampered Peggy Cass.
Number 2, how big are your cars?
They're a small van.
Number 3, I know that Zsa Zsa Gabor has, what kind of animals does she have?
She has 2. One is a poodle. I don't know what the other one is.
Number 1, do you agree with that?
Oh, yes.
And, say, how come you need the same size car for a poodle that you do for a hippopotamus?
Are you asking me that?
Yes, you're...
I suppose because you never know what the next call is going to require.
Well, number 2, if you've got such a big car to have a hippopotamus, don't you lose money when you only have a Yorkshire Terrier to carry?
Well, you can carry several in one trip, so to speak.
I see. It's not an exclusive service. You pick up en route.
Barry Nelson.
Do they tip well? By the way, number 2, do your clients give you any more trouble than, say, the animals do?
Sometimes we try to insist that they don't go along with us.
Are they, well, are they overly protective, let's say?
Sometimes they're adamant about going along.
Do you, number 3, get any complaints from the animals at all, like, gee, this isn't fit for a dog, or...
Oh, a few barks and meows.
What is the largest animal that you've transported in a car?
In a
Number 3.
car, not meaning the our own vehicles.
You mean in one of their vehicles?
Yes, in a normal vehicle.
A baby elephant.
Is that right?
Kitty.
Well, who owned the baby elephant, number 2?
It was on its way to Jungle Land out in Thousand Oaks.
And number 1, what would you say as a class are the best behaved pets?
As a class, I would say dogs.
Dogs
I should think are the best trained.
And number 3, what kind of pets does Danny Kaye have?
Dachshund.
He had a dachshund. Number 2, your service, I take it, is in Hollywood.
That's right.
It doesn't operate in New York.
That is correct.
Number one, when you get the animal to the hospital, do you then stay in attendance?
No, not necessarily, unless we are required to bring it back after treatment.
Uh-huh. Number three, I want to know who went to Grandma's.
Tom Poston.
That was a wolf dog. But number three, do you know, have any idea what pets Jane Mansfield has? Well,
no,
she isn't famous for them, but she has a lot of, you know. What does she have?
I know she owns a couple of large dogs. I don't know what breed they are.
Thank you. Number two, what is the background of your name, Pritchard?
It's Dutch.
A Dutch name, thank you. Number one, there's Mrs. Kaiser. Mrs. Henry Kaiser has a penchant for a certain kind of animal. Do you know what that is, just by chance?
I'm afraid I don't.
I thought maybe you might know. Oh.
No, that's all the time we have. So with whatever information we have gleaned thus far, come to some conclusion, if you will, and mark your ballots at once, without change and no consultation permitted. Vote, if you will, for number one, or for number two, or for number three. All set, and all votes, all ballots marked. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I thought it was number three. He's got an alert, bright-eyed kind of look, and as though he sees the humor in his line of work, but he doesn't think it's particularly, you know, he's serious about it, but he sees that there could be something amusing about it.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number two because Zsa Zsa has Yorkshires, and as far as I know, and also Jungleland is in Thousand Oaks, so I thought maybe it was number two.
Barry?
I voted for number one. I think he's gone gray over this whole day.
Well, you can line up with any one of 1, 2, or 3. Kitty, what should it be?
Well, I thought it was number two, but I voted for number three, and I know I'm wrong because I don't think Danny had a dachshund. But I thought it was number three on the basis of his looks, as Tom did.
Does Danny have a dachshund? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Does Danny have a dachshund?
What a title for a song.
Yes, the alligators, I think.
All right, let's go for it on this basis now and find out whether we've hit the truth or not, as we learn now which one of these gentlemen actually does own and operate the... Well, he's the proprietor of the Pampered Pet Taxi. So will the real Stanton Pritchard please stand up?
Who is it?
Oh, we thank you, sir. Certainly is an interesting line of work, I must say that. Number one, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Bill Weinberg. I'm a photographer's representative.
Thank you. Number two, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Gene Bone, and I'm a composer-lyricist.
Do we know anything that you might have written?
I'm working on a Broadway show right now.
Oh, good. Best of good luck. We'll keep our fingers crossed for you. Tom, you have a Broadway show maybe in the works in the offing, huh?
Easy does it? Yeah. Hope so.
Boy. Good luck to you.
Keep our eyes crossed for that.
We'll all do that for you. All right, in checking through the score here, gentlemen, we find again, as in the second round, you did that 50% job of fooling, which I always maintain with this group of smart people is a good one. There were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each, total $500 you take away with you. From Winston Cigarettes, you also take away from us our sincere thanks for being with us. On your way out, you will find a carton of Winston's waiting for you. Thank you, gentlemen. Good night. God bless you. Why you look so downcast? What's the matter?
Because I only got one and I wasn't very smart and I didn't ask good questions. Oh, gee.
You think you feel bad? Millie White is here and I didn't say hello.
Oh, all right.
How about that? Say. The rest of you feel all right, though. Barry, you did okay?
One learns to live with defeat.
Kitty?
I'm happy. I got 2. And I consider that good for me.
Well, that should be right. After all, you are our football expert. That first round was right down your alley. Thanks for the fun that it was, and thanks to all of you for being with us. See you next week. See you all next week, too, don't forget. And, of course, see you tomorrow on the afternoon show. In the meantime, may I remind you once again, on behalf of Winston Cigarettes, to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Tell the Truth has been brought to you tonight by Winston Filter Cigarettes. Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should. Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. This program was pre-recorded.